Okay, before we could fully understand a proportion, because we're going to describe a proportion, what a proportion is. So, in order for you to have a better understanding about proportion, you must um, you must know first what is a ratio, no? So we have here a ratio. Sabi ko nga kanina, a ratio is parang you are comparing uh, two objects or two things with the same unit. Kunyari, kung in pieces siya dapat. Kung in meter siya dapat. If you are, wait, but may N? Uh, okay, so, like for example, we have three apples. Okay, and then we have four oranges. And when you are asked what is the ratio of apples to oranges, no? So, since you have three apples, so the ratio would be 3 is to 4. Okay, so pieces. Kasi kung pag sinabi mong 3 kilos of apple and 4 pieces of oranges, this is not right. So, if you are making a ratio, you should have the same unit in each of the objects or in each of the things. Now, it can be expressed as this one, 3 is to 4, or it can be expressed in fraction. Okay? It can be expressed as 3 over 4. Okay? So, ganyan yung ratio. So, you must remember that ratio is the comparison of two things with the same unit. Okay, can I make you an example involving geometry? Let's have some line segment here. Actually, this is a recall from the topics that you had in grade 7. Okay, let's say this is CAT, cat. Mahilig ako sa animals eh. Okay? So we have CAT. Let's say this is the measurement of segment CA. So from point C to point A, it has 24 units. Okay, or 24 centimeter if you like to okay, so lagyan natin 24 centimeter for example. Okay? And then from segment A to T, we have 6 centimeter. Okay, so if you were asked to get the ratio, okay, of segment 80 to segment CA, okay, for example, ganyan ano, you were asked to get the ratio of segment 80 to CA. It can be expressed as this one. So all you have to do is just fill in the blanks, okay? Since it is given that 80, the measurement of 80 is 6 centimeter, and the measurement of CA is 24 centimeter. Okay? You may disregard the unit now since nalaman mo naman they have the same unit. You can cancel that out because we're only looking for the ratio. So, i-cancel natin yan. So, we have 6 over 24. But you have, if you're going to reduce this to the lowest term, you can actually factor this one, which has a common factor of 6. So, can be expressed as 6 times 1. While 24 can be expressed as 6 times 4. Okay? So, cancel this out, cancel this out. What's left is 1/4. So, therefore, the ratio of 80 over CA is 1 over 4 or 1 is to 4. Okay? Any question about this? Any question so far? Could you excuse me for a minute, please? Okay, I'm sorry for the interruption. Medyo may emergency lang something. Okay, so any questions so far regarding the ratio? It's easy, right? Like for example, if you are asked to get the ratio of CA, this time CA, segment CA, over segment CT, or we can add CA plus AT, okay? Segment CA plus segment AT. So CA is 24. Okay, so this is it says here CA plus AT. CA is 24 plus the segment AT is 6. So this is 24 over 30. Okay, you can factor this out also. You can reduce this also to the lowest term. This is both divisible by 6. So we can, the common factor is 6. So this is 6 times 4. And this one is 6 times 5. 30 is 6 times 5. Canceling this out, yung common factor nila, what's left is 4 over 5. So the ratio of CA over CA plus AT is 4 over 5. Okay, so if you don't have any more question, let's have another example. This time, DOG. Okay, segment DO. So we have here D, and then this is point O, and then this is point G. Lagay natin dito yung O. No, wait. Okay. So if for example, segment DG or DO is 12. So yan 12, no, from D to O. And then segment OG, so from point O to point G, we have 3. Okay, so if you're asked to find for the ratio of segment OG to DO, okay, so just fill it in based from the given. OG is 3 and DO is 12. Okay, reducing it, they have a common factor for 3. This can be expressed as 3 times 1. And 12 can be expressed as 3 times 4. Okay, so we can cancel this out. Cancel this out. We have here, what's left is 1/4. So the ratio of OG over DO is 1/4. As you can see, parehas sila ng ratio nitong isa dito. No? Yung ratio ng CA over AT over CA is the same as the ratio of OG over DO dito sa pangalawa. Although they have different measurement, no, yung measurement ng from points C to T is different from the measurement of points D to G, but their respective segments are proportion, have the same ratio. Okay, have the same ratio. That is the essence of proportion. When we compare two ratios and the two ratios are equal. Okay, so that's the parang pinaka main idea kung bakit merong proportion. Okay, so that means proportion means the two ratios are equal. Okay, do you have any questions about this? Any question?
None po.
Okay, so it's very understandable naman, ano? Na-explain ko naman siguro mabuti sa inyo. Okay, so the ratio is the proportion is a statement that gives the equality of two ratios. Okay, so in short, the two ratios are equal. When the two ratios are equal, then they are proportion. Okay, so it is expresses this one. Okay, and or in fraction, you can express this one. Okay, now let's see. Um, if for the fundamental law of proportion. Okay, we have the fundamental. This is the main law, no, ng proportion. Hindi pwedeng walang ganito, no? Fundamental law. Does any one of you have an idea what is the fundamental law of proportion? I think I have already discussed this on grade 7. Does any one of you can recall this one? What is the fundamental law of proportion? Anyone? Okay, so if you cannot remember, let me help you remind the fundamental law of proportion. Gawin na lang nating simpleng statement lang, no? In the fundamental law of proportion, the product of the means, the product of the means is equal to the product of the extreme. Is equal to the product of the extremes. Okay, ano tong means, ano tong extremes, okay? But first, when we say product, of the extreme. Okay, when we say product, ano ang involved na operation?
Multiplication po.
Okay, very good anak. Multiplication, no? Nasagot nyo kaagad. When we say product, syempre, we have to multiply. What are we going to multiply? The means and the extremes. Now, let me help you out here. So, if for example, we have two, kunin na natin yung example kanina, no? Yung example kanina na parehas sila ng ratio. Okay, so we have 6/24. It is equal to 3/12. Let's express this first in other way, yung mayroong 6:24. Okay? It is equal to, because they have the same ratio, 3:12. So that means they are proportional, di ba? Kanina na-prove natin that the ratio are the same. Now, this one, yung number na nasa loob, these are what we call the means. And yung mga number na nasa labas, outside, yung outsider na sila, no? Nasa extremes, sa dulo-dulo, ibig sabihin nun. So, we have the extremes. Yung means, yung magkadikit na number, yung extremes, yung dulo-dulo na number, no? Now, it says here, the product of the means is equal to the product of the extremes. So, the product of the means, we are going to multiply this one. 24 times 3 is what? 24 times 3. These are the means, right? If you're going to multiply the means, with which is, what is it equal to? (24 times 3). Can you please multiply? Tignan mo. Actually, you can do it mentally.
72, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, anak. Okay, so that's 72. Okay? So the means, the product of the means is 12. How about the extremes? What is the product of the extreme? Let's multiply 6 times 12. Yung mga dulo-dulo.
72 din po, ma'am.
Okay, very good. So nakita ninyo ang ibig kong sabihin dun sa fundamental law of proportion? Madali lang maintindihan, ano? Madali ring matandaan. Now, if you're using this one, if you're going to express this in fraction, yung ratio, all you have to do is cross multiply. No? So this is 3/24. 3 times 24, sorry. 3 times 24 and 6 times 12. Cross multiplication. 6 times 12 is 72, as well as 24 times 3 is 72. Ganun lang, no? These are the means, and the extreme is here, the first and last number. No? These are the extreme. Ito yung extreme. No? And the means, ito. Okay, do you have any more question? Any question so far? Wala? Okay. We usually do this in problem solving. Paano natin magagamit to in problem solving, no? Like for example, yung simple example lang. For example, the ratio of 1/2. The ratio of, kunyari, merong given ratio that is 1/2. You're going to find for x when this is 5. So 1 is to 2 is equal to x is to 5. So in order to find for x, of course, all you have to do is cross multiply, right? So 2 times x is 2x is equal to, ay gawin na lang natin itong even para divisible by 2. So gawin natin itong 6. Okay? Is equal to 1 times 6 is 6. Okay? Since ang hinahanap natin is x, we're looking for x, sisipain natin yung katabi ni x. Since nakamultiply yung x sa 2, we're going to divide it by 2. But if you're going to divide by 2 here, you must also divide by 2 here, so it won't hurt the value. Now, we can cancel out now 2 and 2 because 2 over 2 is 1. So what's left is x. So x therefore is 6 over 2 or simply 3. Okay? So if you're going to substitute 3 here, isa-substitute mo na ngayon yung 3 ngayon yan dyan. No, gagawin na nating 3 yan kasi x is equal to 3. Kung multiply mo yan, this is 6. Multiply mo to, ito 6. Okay? Any more questions so far? Tahimik kayo ngayon. That means, naintindihan nyo mabuti. Now, isa-isahin natin yung mga properties ng proportion. These are, ito yung sinulat ko na, no? Para hindi ako matagal lang magsulat. We have the original proportion, of course. Kung anong original proportion mo. Let's have the example that we have a while ago. The original proportion is, ano nga ba yon? 6 over 24 is equal to 3 over 12. Okay? Ito yung original proportion. Dito tayo magbe-base. No? Kung ito yung original proportion. Ngayon, when we say alternation property of the original proportion, alternation means ito over this should be equal to this over this, or ito over this would be equal to, kung numerator to numerator, no? You're going to use the numerator over the numerator and denominator over the denominator. Okay, so let's have 6 over 3. 6 is to 3. It is equal to 24 over 12. Okay? Nagsimula ka dito, over this one. Ito yung ginawa mong numerator. Ito naman ginawa mong denominator. Ito, this one. 6 is to 3. Alternation. No? 6 is to 3 is equal to 24 is to 12. Obviously, when you're going to multiply, parehas din sila. Parehong 72. Cross-multiplying, they still have 72. Or you can express this. Kung gusto mo namang unahin ito over this, so we have 3 is to 6 is equal to, so syempre, uunahin mo rin yung dito, yung kapares ng original. So we have 12 is to 24. Now, cross-multiplying, you still have the same result. Okay, so any question about this alternation? Now, inverse. Inverse property. Pagka sinabing inverse, yung numerator, gagawin mong denominator. Yung denominator, gagawin mong numerator. Okay, so this is the original. 6 is to 24 or 6 over 24. Babalik na rin natin siya. That's the inverse. So the inverse of 6 over 24 is 24 over 6. Kabaliktaran, no? Ng original. Yung 6 over 24, ginawa natin 24 over 6. Pinagbaliktad lang natin, no? Yung position nila as numerator and denominator. Ganon din yung kabila. Pagbabaliktarin din natin tong 3 over 12. Gagawin natin 12 over 3. So 12 over 3. Okay. Kung mapapansin ninyo, kapag cross-multiply nyo, you will still have the same result. Sa 72 din sila. Okay? Now, kapag sinabi namang addition property of the original, so yung original natin, for example, is to 6 over 24. Okay? So, if you want to get the ratio of 6 plus 24, i-add mo. Pinag-add mo yung dalawa, no? Ito, yung pinag-add mo tong dalawa over nitong or nito or nito, okay? Let's have more example of this. Over 24. It must be equal to. Syempre, pag-add mo rin yung dalawa, yung 3 plus 12. And syempre over 12. No? So, this is equal to 30 over 24. 6 plus 24 is 30 over 24 is equal to 3 plus 12 is 15 over 12. Now, if you're going to cross multiply, what's going to be the result? Cross multiply.
160, ma'am.
30 times 12 is?
360 po.
360. Very good. So, this is 360. How about the others? Of course, this is also 360. Okay? So, ganun pa rin. Proportion pa rin sila. Using addition property of the original. Maaring paglaruan mo rin lang dito eh. Maaring ang pagplasin mo. Okay, for example, pagplasin mo sila, no? And then, ito naman, i-over 6 mo naman. Kung ano yung ginawa mo dito, yun din ang gagawin mo dito. Like, for example, we have 6 plus 24. Pero, you use 6 as the denominator. Ganun din ang gagawin mo dito. Mag 3 plus 12 ka dito, addition property, over, 3 plus 12 pala to, sorry. 3 plus 12, okay, over 3. No? Kasi yung mas maliit na segment ang ginawa mong denominator. Kung pagpaplasin mo yan at kukunin mo, they're still proportional. Okay? So, if you have addition property of the original proportion, you also have subtraction property of the original proportion. So, isubtract natin. Siyempre, unahin natin 24. Mas malaki, no? Although, pwede din naman kung negative. So, 24 minus 6 over 24. Or, you can say over 6. So, depende yan kung ano yung gusto mong paglaruan dito sa proportion na to. Sa original proportion. It is equal to 12 minus 3 over 12. No? Kung ano yung ginawa mo dito, ganun din ang gagawin mo dito. Pag minus mo to, this is 24 minus 6 is 18. Correct me if I'm right. 24 is equal to 12 minus 3 is 9 over 12. Okay? So, if you're going to cross multiply this one, cross multiply. Okay, can you please cross multiply? Cross multiplying, we have?
216 po.
Okay, thank you, anak. So, that's 216. As well as this one, 18 times 12 is also 216. As you can see, they are still proportional. Okay, any more question? Any questions so far? The reason why I'm discussing this to you, it's because it's somewhat related to your instructional support material. Now, I want you to answer this now. Now na ha, para meron na kagad kayo activity. This one, I'm going to give, this is very easy. Wait, I still have to stop first the